Okay, good morning. Good morning. I'm going to try to go through the highlights of this lawsuit. My title is sarcastic and humorous, I promise. They are actually, Ginger Ale is being sued, but I don't take it that seriously. Good morning. Hey, my beautiful Miami J, Shirley Macklin, Somali Queen, Soundcheck Annette, Susie Q, Angel One. I'm still tapping the screen for Melody. Oh, okay. My thing says it starts at 9. Oh my gosh. Are you just saying you've been on the habit because you were there last night into the early morning? Apparently, y'all, season lady, my inner season lady said, go to bed. Stop playing with me. They never left. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey, Glow. Because I saw her story said back at it in 5 hours, and I was like, a few hours ago. Lord. Okay, well, I'll be checking in for the one that I knew was coming. Hey, Cut and Paste Tisha, good morning. Been up since 5 a.m. Y'all, hold it down. POP, hold it down. Hey, Juanita. Okay, I'm going to get started on this so I can let y'all be free and get back to the taps. Okay, so this is Lillian Elliott. This is a class action lawsuit, okay? So it's Lillian Elliott on behalf of herself and all others similarly situated versus Keurig Dr. Pepper Incorporated. And we're going to go ahead and go to the thing, down to the bottom. Okay, nature of the action. It says, "Oh Lord, not today. That's not how it's gonna look." Okay, nature of the action. This is a consumer class action for the violation of state consumer protection laws and statutes, including unfair competition, false advertising, breach of warranty, negligent misrepresentation, fraud by omission, and fraudulent inducement. It says defendant sells a variety of carbonated beverages described as ginger ales and quotes diet ginger ales under both its Schwepps and Canada Dry brand names. Defendant's ginger ale beverages that are the subject of this action include but are not limited to products labeled Schweppes Diet Ginger Ale, Schweppes Diet Raspberry Ginger Ale, Dry Grape Ginger Ale, Black Cherry Ginger Ale, dry or Canada Dry Diet Ginger Ale, Canada Dry Zero Sugar Ginger Ale, Canada Dry Zero Sugar Ginger Ale and Lemonade, and Cranberry Ginger Ale. It says defendant manufactures, labels, markets, advertises, distributes, and sells the products through a variety of retail outlets across the United States. Defendant sells the products in a variety of sizes and configurations, including 1-liter bottles, 2-liter bottles, 10-ounce cans, and 12-ounce cans. Defendant labels all the products as if they were solely naturally flavored. The products, however, all contain undisclosed artificial flavoring. Federal and state laws require that all food products that contain artificial flavors display prominent disclosures on the front of package labels and in the ingredient statement informing consumers that those products are artificially flavored. None of the products disclose the presence of artificial flavors. All the products are unlawfully labeled. Several of the products' labels, in fact, claim or claimed during the class action period that they were flavored only with natural ginger flavor or natural flavors, or that they were naturally flavored or naturally flavored with other natural flavors. These labels are both intentionally misleading and unlawful under federal, state, and state law because they omit the material fact that the products contain artificial flavoring and the product's characterizing flavor is simulated and reinforced by artificial flavoring. Defendant willfully conceals from consumers the fact that the products contained artificial flavoring chemicals that simulate and reinforce the characterizing flavor. You can already tell who you can already tell who did this because we just know our stomach feels better after drinking it. Oh my gosh. Because these labels conceal the fact that the products are made with artificial flavors, those labels are false and misleading, and the products are misbranded under federal and state law. Defendant intended the packaging, labeling, and advertising scheme for the products to give consumers the false impression that they are buying premium, all-natural products instead of beverages that are artificially flavored. Plaintiff, who purchased the products multiple times during the proposed class period and was deceived by defendant's unlawful conduct, brings this action on her own behalf and on behalf of consumers in California and nationwide to remedy defendant's unlawful conduct. Now, this is what I'm going to tell y'all. Even if you're like, girl, I didn't care, not me, but to the plaintiff that opened this lawsuit up, still see if you can add your name, because you can get a little $15-$20 if they actually have to settle. So that's why I keep an eye on these too. Add your name if you've been buying ginger ale and you was like, hey, I didn't think about this artificial flavoring thing. Add your name to the lawsuit. You can get a little, it just depends on what they settle for, if they settle. But every now and again, you get a little check in the mail. So I'm still letting y'all know about this. Good morning. Juanita said, right. I love ginger ale. I keep 2 cases. Right. It says, on behalf of the class as defined herein, plaintiff seeks an order compelling defendant to inter alia cease packaging, distributing, advertising, and selling the misbranded products in violation of state consumer protection laws, inform consumers regarding the product's misbranding, award plaintiff and the other class members restitution, actual damages, and punitive damages, and pay all costs of suit expenses and attorney's fees. What page am I on? 7. I just want to tell y'all this was filed October 29th, 2024, just so y'all know. Let me get back to page 7. Okay. So, skipping over the parties, here's the factual allegations. Hold on. I'm trying to see something here. Okay, so it says ginger, which describes the product's flavor and is displayed on the product's front labels, is a primary recognizable flavor and is therefore the product's characterizing flavor. Federal regulations state that if the labeling, or advertising of a food makes any direct or indirect representations with respect to the primary recognizable flavors by word, vignette, example, depiction of a fruit or other means, then such flavor shall be considered the characterizing flavor. Okay. It says if a food product's characterizing flavor is not created exclusively by the named ingredient, the product's front label must state that the product contains either natural flavorings or artificial flavorings, or both as appropriate. Under federal regulations and state consumer protection laws, the product ingredient lists are also required to inform the consumer that the product contains artificial flavoring. None of the product labels or product ingredients list inform customers that the product contains artificial flavoring. Defendant conceals from consumers that all the products are artificially this is a tongue twister, artificially flavored. California law also prohibits entities from making untrue or misleading statements about goods, engaging in unethical practices injurious to California residents or competing corporations and other entities, and from violating FDA and other federal regulations and the laws of the other states regarding consumer protections. Glow said, thank you. I love me some ginger ale. Okay, Massachusetts law further protects consumers by prohibiting persons from using unfair or deceptive acts or practices in the conduct of trade or commerce, and from concealing, suppressing, or omitting material facts from consumers. Other states' laws are similar. The products all contain artificial flavoring. Okay. It says all of the products contain an ingredient identified in the product ingredient list as malic acid. Malic acid, defendant adds to the products, is actually a synthetic compound called D-L-malic acid, or racemic mixture of D and L malic acids. Other chemical names, Other chemical names for D-malic acid are as follows, and y'all can see y'all screen. I highlighted. I'm not going to play with them. This compound, informally known as D-malic acid, is not found in nature. A commercial food industry testing lab confirmed through quantitative analytical testing that the products contained added D1 malic acid. I believe that's the number 1. The different products include different quantities of I don't know if that's DL or D1 malic acid. For the Schwepps branded products, malic acid is the second ingredient by weight after carbonated water. The Canada Dry branded products contain lesser quantities of D-malic acid. The D-malic acid that defendant adds to the products is a synthetic petrochemical that is made from benzene or butane in petrochemical factories. Okay, now there you go. Okay, now. Now you start using some buzzwords that's catching my attention. I cannot highlight straight to save my life right now. Petrochemical. Okay. Butane. Okay. Natural malic acid is a primary component of natural ginger. Sorry. Defendant adds synthetic D. I'm gonna say DL malic. Yes, an L. DL malic acid to the products because without the addition of this synthetic chemical, the products would not taste like ginger ale. The DL malic acid in the product simulates, resembles, and reinforces the product's characterizing flavor. The synthetic DL malic acid added to the products functions as a flavoring in the products. The DL malic acid in the products is not a natural flavoring material. It is a synthetic chemical manufactured in a petrochemical factory from petroleum feedstocks. Lord, the DL malic acid defendant adds to the products is therefore an artificial flavor under federal and state law. Good morning, y'all. Root beer probably would be sued next. I would think so, VB. I think they could be. I do. There's nothing safe, Tisha. Nothing is safe out here. It is, Bama girl. It came from a petroleum feedstock, as they put it, in petroleum factory. I think I saw it earlier. Okay, it says the products are misbranded and unlawfully and misleadingly labeled. None of the product's packaging includes on either the front or back labels any indication that the products contain artificial flavoring. Many of the product's labels expressly represent or represented during the proposed class period that they were made only with natural flavors or natural ginger flavor, or were naturally flavored with other natural flavors. None of the Canada Dry or Schwepps branded products lawfully disclose to the consumer that they are artificially flavored. Look, I'm gonna tell you what, reading this, when I first read the summary, I was just thinking about artificially flavored. They need to focus more on this butane part of this thing. I don't care about it not being labeled artificially flavored. Can we focus more on this butane source? Below is a true and accurate representation of an example of a Canada Dry diet ginger ale product front label and packaging during the class period. These Canada Dry product labels fail to inform consumers that the product is flavored with an artificial flavor. Representative front and back label images for a 2-liter bottle of the Canada Dry Zero Sugar Ginger Ale product are shown below. All right. So it goes straight from, because y'all probably can't see this, it says carbonated water in less than 2% of, and then it's ginger extract first, natural flavors next, citric acid, malic acid, not DL malic acid, sodium citrate, sodium benzoate, which is a preservative, calcium, I can't read that word, it's too far curved over, aspartame, and some other caramel color and some other things. It does not name that one that they named in this lawsuit. Neither the front nor back labels show the required artificial flavoring disclosures. The product ingredient list also fails to identify the malic acid in the product as an artificial flavor as required by federal and state law. The labels on Schweppes Diet Ginger Ale products, for example, in addition to unlawfully failing to disclose to consumers that they are artificially flavored, further misleading consumers with label statements that those products are made with, for example, natural ginger flavor with other natural flavors. Below is a true and accurate representation of Schweppes Diet Ginger Ale products and labels. These label representations also convey to the consumer, by operation of federal and state law, that the products are flavored only with natural flavors. All of the products labeling omits the federal and state required artificial flavor or artificially flavored front label statement. Bama Girl said, I want my money back. Because the products contain added artificial flavoring that simulates and reinforces the product's characterizing ginger flavor, the product's front labels are required by law to disclose the presence of those additional flavorings rather than misleadingly and deceptively to suggest that the product's flavor is conferred only by natural flavorings. All are misleadingly labeled and warrant to the consumer that they contain only natural flavors and are not artificially flavored. Below are representative front labels and ingredients lists for 2 of the products, Schweppes Diet Ginger Ale and Schweppes Diet Raspberry Ginger Ale. Okay. Ingredients shows carbonated water, malic acid, the natural kind, sodium citrate, sodium benzoate, aspartame, natural flavors, caramel color, and potassium. For both these products, malic acid, actually artificial DL malic acid, is the first ingredient by weight after carbonated water. None of these products' front or back labels include the required artificial flavoring disclosures informing the consumer that the product contains artificial flavoring. Defendant intentionally omits this legally required labeling, choosing instead to intentionally label the products as if they are solely naturally flavored. Defendant intentionally conceals from consumers the presence of artificial flavoring in the products. Good morning, Area Query. Don't tell you nothing about Pepsi. You better hope I don't see the lawsuit. Tisha said, trendy, are you saying is it not regulated by the government? Where the checks and balances? This is double talk. Well, the lawsuit, I think, is saying that the government does regulate it. They have provided regulations, and the company is willfully ignoring the regulations, is how I'm interpreting this. Because they keep referring back to that there are existing regulations already. So that's how I'm taking it. Hey, Miss Wynn. Defendant unlawfully misleads consumers to believe that the products are naturally flavored when in fact they all contain artificial flavoring. Food and beverage ingredient suppliers offer both the natural and artificial versions of malic acid. Defendant chose to use the artificial version DL malic acid because it is less expensive than using natural flavors, but falsely and unlawfully labels the products as if they contain only natural flavors. Defendant, a sophisticated beverage manufacturer, made a conscious choice to use the artificial version of the flavoring material, but not label the products in accordance with federal law and state law requirements. So there it goes right there. And I can't stand this. That's going to get me. Made a conscious choice. Defendant knew or should have known that the products are unlawfully mislabeled and misbranded. Defendant willfully conceals from consumers through the products mislabeling and misleading advertising the fact that the products are artificially flavored. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Hey, Gwen. Good morning. Okay, Teresa said this is why diet and zero soda are so addictive to diabetics and seems to spike blood sugars. The manufacturers of all sodas needs to pay consumers medical bills and reimburse consumers. More class actions may be coming. This could be the one that, that breaks the ground. Well, I feel like they've been sued before, like soda companies in general. So it's just going to be probably another wave of them getting sued again. The butane word is what got me. That's what got me. Okay, defendant knew or should have known that the products are unlawfully mislabeled and misbranded. Defendant willfully conceals from consumers through the products mislabeling and misleading advertising the fact that the products are artificially flavored. Defendant deceives consumers and violates federal regulations and the state laws of California, Massachusetts, and other states. Other states' laws similarly require that food product labels must disclose the presence of artificial flavoring and be accurate and not misleading. The products are misbranded and illegal to distribute or sell in commerce in California, Massachusetts, or anywhere in the U.S. It says plaintiff and class members suffered an ascertainable loss of money as a result of defendant's conduct because they purchased the products containing undisclosed and undesirable artificial flavors and purchased those products at a price premium. When purchasing the products, plaintiff and class members were seeking products of particular qualities, characteristics, and benefits, specifically products that were flavored only with the natural ingredients claimed on the labels that did not contain artificial flavors. Plaintiff is not alone in these consumer preferences. Forbes magazine reported that 88% of consumers polled indicated they would pay more for foods perceived as natural or healthy. Now, this is true. This is why everything usually gets labeled organic. Stuff that was always gluten-free gets labeled gluten-free as if it's now newly gluten-free. So yes, that I have seen plenty of times. All demographics of consumers from Gen Z to baby boomers say they would pay more for such products, specifically including foods with no artificial flavors. Defendants' misleading labeling and marketing of the products reflects this knowledge of consumers' preferences for natural products. Oh, thank you. Okay, Mel left. Goalie people took over. She'll be back at 9 a.m. Oh, okay, thank you, Hazel K. Defendants' misleading labeling and marketing of the products reflects this knowledge of consumers' preferences for natural products. Plaintiff purchased one or more of the products in California during the class period as defined herein. Plaintiff was unaware that the products contained artificial flavors when they purchased them. Plaintiff purchased the products at marked retail prices in various size bottles and cans and multi-packs and from time to time at promotional prices. Oh, I don't blame a consumer. I don't know if that's how I came off, but I'm not blaming any consumer. Plaintiff and the class relied upon and were deceived by the product's deceptive labeling, and specifically defendants' omission of the facts that the products contained artificial flavorings and decision to label the products as if they were solely naturally flavored. Plaintiff purchased the products believing they were naturally flavored based on the product's deceptive labeling and defendant's failure to disclose the artificial flavoring. And I'm about to take a real quick detour, just real quick, on how much I hate that they try to put stuff off on consumers. Not this lawsuit. This lawsuit's trying to fight for the consumer, but just in general, like the whole recycle movement to me is crazy because these companies with their billions of dollars get to produce all this plastic, and we have access to what we have access to. The companies, me and Mr. Trini talk about this all the time, the companies should already be making more recyclable material that's actually recyclable, not fake recyclable, because the recycle centers said that the type of plastic that they do is not even recyclable. They put the little triangle with the arrows and the stuff ain't even actually recyclable. And we can only purchase what is available to consume. That responsibility needs to be back on the companies to actually make biodegradable, recyclable, all that stuff. That is not to be put back on us to have an extra can outside and all this other stuff because, and the cost goes back to us. So that was my little detour from that too. Like, I hate that they be like, make sure you recycle. Like, okay, I mean, I do care about the planet, but stop producing these things in the thing that's mass consumed. Like, give it to us in a different format from the beginning point. All right, let me get back to this. Plaintiff first discovered defendant's unlawful conduct described herein in 2024 when she learned that the product's characterizing flavor was deceptively simulated using artificial flavors. Plaintiff and the class, as reasonable consumers, are not required to subject consumer food and beverage products to laboratory analysis or to independently research label information that state law and federal regulations require be accurately disclosed and prominently displayed on product labeling. Defendant, but not plaintiff or the class, knew or should have known that the product's labeling was unlawful, false, and misleading. And the defendant is the Dr. Pepper, the Schwepps Canada Dry companies. Plaintiff and class members would not have purchased the products were they not fraudulently induced to do so by the product's unlawful and misleading labels. Because plaintiff and the class reasonably assumed the products to be free of artificial flavoring based on the product's labels when they were not, they did not receive the full benefit of their purchases. Instead of receiving the benefit of products free of artificial flavoring, plaintiff and the class purchased products that were unlawfully labeled to deceive consumers into believing that they were exclusively naturally flavored and contained no artificial flavoring. Products that consumers believe to be naturally flavored compete with and sell at a price premium compared to products that contain artificial flavors. Plaintiff and the class would not have purchased the products in the absence of defendant's misrepresentations and omissions. Had defendant not violated state and federal law, plaintiff and the class would not have been injured. Alternatively, plaintiff and the class members would not have paid as much for the products absent defendant's false and misleading statements and omissions. The products were worth less to the plaintiff and other class members than they paid for them. Defendants' deceptive labeling practices and knowing and willful omissions of material facts caused plaintiff and the class to lose money. Plaintiff and each class member altered their financial positions to their detriment and suffered losses equal to the price of the products they purchased or the price premium they paid, believing the products contained no artificial flavors. Plaintiff intends to, desires to, and will purchase the products again when she can do so with the assurance that the product's labels, which warrant that the products are solely naturally flavored, are lawful and consistent with the product's ingredients. Plaintiff might purchase the misbranded and unlawfully labeled products again in the future, as she may forget or may reasonably but incorrectly assume the false labeling was corrected. Because human memory is imperfect, plaintiff and class members may mistakenly purchase the misbranded products again without realizing that those products are still misbranded and still deceptively packaged and labeled. Okay, so they're damaged by the unlawful conduct, delayed discovery and accrual. It says plaintiff is a reasonably diligent consumer who exercised reasonable diligence in the purchase of the products. Nevertheless, she would not have been able to discover defendant's deceptive practices and lacked the means to discover them, given that, like nearly all consumers, she relies on and is entitled to rely on the manufacturer's obligation to label its products in compliance with federal regulations and state law. Oh, and let me clarify, Miss Tisha, I do not, I am not qualified to give any legal advice. Two, I am not a person that even if I one day get those credentials, I think you're not supposed to offer legal advice online. So I'm not giving any legal advice. I'm giving opinions. I am giving opinions, and I am a lay person at this point. I do not have. It is just a fascination I have with some of these things. But let me just clarify: no legal advice is being provided. I appreciate you, supporting and watching. Thank you. Okay, we're going down. So class action allegations. Let's see here. The plaintiff intends to represent a proposed California subclass. The proposed California subclass. No, we're not doing that. The definition of it. No, we're going to keep going. Plaintiff also intends to represent a proposed multi-state breach of warranty subclass and a proposed breach of contract, fraud by omission, and fraud in the inducement subclass. Keep going. They're telling how it meets the criteria. They're still exposed to the omissions. Going to keep going down. Okay, so I'm just giving you the title, the heading of the causes of action. So first cause of action was violation of the Consumers Legal Remedies Act. Second one is violation of the unfair competition law. This is some of these are the same as the Hobby Lobby lawsuit, class action lawsuit. The third cause of action, violation of false advertising law. The fourth cause of action, violation of Massachusetts consumer protection law. Oh, that's cute. Okay, thank you. The fifth cause of action, breach of express warranties. Sixth cause of action, breach of implied warranties. Going down. Seventh cause of action, negligent misrepresentation. Eighth cause of action, fraud by omission. Ninth cause of action, fraud in the inducement. Prayer for relief. It says, wherefore plaintiff, on behalf of herself and all others similarly situated in California and Massachusetts and all others similarly situated in the U.S., prays for judgment against defendant as follows. In order confirming that this action is properly maintainable as a class action as defined above, appointing plaintiff and their undersigned counsel to represent the class and the subclasses, and requiring defendant to bear the cost of class notice. In order declaring that the conduct complained of herein violates California CLRA, violates the California UCL, violates the California FAL, in order declaring that the conduct complained of herein violates the Massachusetts general laws and warrants treble damages. Violates corresponding consumer protection laws in states other than California, including the states included in the multi-state subclasses. In order declaring that the conduct complained of herein breached express warranties, implied warranties, or both. In order declaring that the conduct complained of herein constituted fraud in the inducement. In order requiring defendant to disgorge any benefits received from plaintiff and the class and any unjust enrichment realized as a result of the improper and misleading labeling, advertising, and marketing of the products. In order requiring defendant to pay restitution and damages to plaintiff and class members so that they may be restored any money which was acquired by means of any unfair, deceptive, unconscionable, or negligent acts, an award to plaintiff and the classes of compensatory, exemplary, and statutory damages, including interest in an amount to be proven at trial, an award of punitive damages in an amount to be proven at trial, an order enjoining defendant's deceptive and unfair practices, an order requiring defendant to conduct corrective advertising, an award of prejudgment and post-judgment interest, an award of attorney fees and costs, and such other and further relief as this court may deem just, equitable, or proper. And the plaintiff does demand a trial by jury. All right. It says plaintiff does not seek a jury trial for claims sounding in equity, though. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's it. That is it. The war on ginger ale. But with that butane, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm gonna shut my mouth. That's all I got. When you put that butane word in there, I'm done. I'm done. So yeah, y'all be careful out there. Be safe. Golly. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here in time. So Melody comes back on to TikTok at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see y'all soon. All right. Bye.